Let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome to Boxing Unwrapped. Welcome to Boxing Unwrapped, a podcast that's hotter than the Notre Dame. I'm Ryan.
So topical, Ryan, honestly. You do this stuff last minute every time, I can tell.
Totally. Right off the top of my head.
All the boxing fans who are also like kind of art appreciators will be like, or is it, it's a cathedral, is it? All the religious folks will all be like upset.
Yeah,
At
exactly.
you mocking it, all the boxing religious folk.
And all our French listeners.
Oh, sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu.
Royaume et André. I was French for too far. I should know it. C'est mal.
Désolé.
Or is that I'm sad? If only we knew someone that could speak French, right?
No, exactly. They could interpret for us.
Oh man. Did you ask me to say anything about what the episode, like the plan for the week is?
No, not yet. No.
Should I do it?
Yeah. Okay, Andy. Anyway, guys. Obviously, we are back after a small hiatus, and we just want to remind you to, share our posts, subscribe, get involved, and keep us growing as we are. But Andy, do you want to tell the good people what we've got in store this week on What the F is the Boxing News?
I do. We are first of all going to cover the results from last week, and then the results from last week, because we did have that little missed out section before. We're going to talk about what the F are the upcoming fights. There's some big ones. Some big ones this weekend. What went wrong last week, Ryan? What went wrong? Oh my goodness. Random news. There's a fair bit to cover. Some of it more recent than others, shall we say? But I mean, it's all good stuff. We will, of course, tell what grinds our gears. And then we'll finish up with exactly. And we'll finish up with a little bit of listener corner.
Good stuff. Well, let's dive right into what the F are the results from last week.
And so the first one we should mention is the result from last week, or 2 weekends ago, if you wish. And I mention this because it's literally set the social media online ablaze with chat about this particular fight.
Did it?
No. I think this is one for. I don't think many people will have come across this. I think probably we were the chief promotion for this fight when we flagged it as an upcoming fight. Anyway, Mariusz Wach versus Martin Bakole in Poland. Bakole won in the 8th round, stoppage. And I said beforehand that Bakole's bandwagon will be somewhat restarted if he manages to stop Wach and stop him in style. He did stop him. I think in style is probably a bit too much. He looks very kind of like army when he punches, but I mean, I guess the volume eventually wore Wach down. He looked, like I say, his punches look a wee bit powder puffy, a wee bit army, I think.
Yeah.
And Wach is about as mobile as a tortoise. I mean, he just stands there and gets hit and just takes it.
I know.
Oh man, it's not pretty. And also Bakole looked pretty gassed at various points before he got the stoppage, so that doesn't bode well either. So I don't know. I'm totally unconvinced about him as a prospect. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, I he does have a really odd fighting style. It's a real strange one. So I don't know if he's ever going to reach that kind of elite level. To be honest, he's not a fighter that excites me.
But here is a good time to be a mediocre heavyweight.
Oh, it's perfect timing. Like, because you'll get a title shot as long as you're not Dillian White.
You'll be like, yeah, we're looking for the next heavyweight title challenger. Yeah, are you quite good? Well, I'm all right. I'm not great. Okay. Is your name Dillian White? No, you're in. You're in. You can have your title shot. Can you pretend to be American for marketability, please? Yeah. Okay. Oh, definite. you're Sean. Can you create some artificial animosity with one of the champions? Yep. Okay, you're definitely getting it. Good.
You're done. You're in.
All set. Should we move on to the last Friday?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it, man. Loma versus Crolla. The 100-to-1 shot.
Sprung an upset, did he?
No, even a little bit. Do you know what? It was, there was obviously a lot of chat about Loma's shoulder in his previous fight. He's kind of come back from injury after the surgery, and people were like, oh, is he ever going to be the same? And I think he is definitely the same fighter as he was.
I think he's better.
Better. Man, he was just unbelievable. Like, that first round, he was toying with Crolla, and he was just going like, I wonder where your weaknesses are. And then the second round, like, he just kind of turned it on a little bit and rocked Crolla a bit. And that third round was devastating for Crolla. Like, you could tell he was just, like, in there, didn't have a clue what the fuck to do. Didn't know how to defend against Lomachenko. Like, even though he was the kind of taller guy, he's got a bigger reach. Like, he couldn't jab Loma away at all. And that kind of funny knockdown, is the fight over, is it not thing that happened was a disgrace, actually. Because, to be honest, I think the ref should have maybe stopped the fight there, because Crolla, having to come back in the fourth round, already out of it, that's why the knockout was so devastating.
Yeah, it's real bad when they go face first.
Man. There was just bad. Nothing. It was a real bad knockout. And
I wonder if his towel, when he was taking on that punishment in the third weather's corner, could have thrown in the towel. Actually,
I think they probably should have. Actually, they should have had a chat to him and said.
Well, I mean, it kind of actually just before the third round finished, when he was.
Oh yeah.
Just before or as the count was about to start, I think at that point you go, there is no prospect of him doing anything other than being soundly beaten. Or they would have known he was still like super ropey after the minute rest before the fourth.
Yeah.
Like you just think sometimes, is there a way to avoid the fighter taking those like last blows? And you think that one maybe.
Because I mean, was there a chance that Crolla was going to come out in the fourth round after already being like having his bell rung and demolishing Loma, like turning it on to another level?
Yeah,
probably not.
And Crolla's not like a one-punch knockout. It's one thing if you've got like if you carry like devastating power, you might land that one shot, but he's not the type of fighter that really has a record of doing that. So
no,
I thought Lomachenko. See what you were saying about like the first round. It's like he does. It's like he's in a test. He's a computer program, and he's in like a testing environment, and he's just like he's like working out how best to do it, and then it's like, oh, okay, this is the formula for beating opponent X, and he just starts doing it.
Totally, it's insane. Like, and you wonder really. Like, he says he wants to fight Garcia now, and you wonder like, well, is there really a reason you should stop that fight from happening? Like, because, like, Loma, what, does he need one more fight to come back after beating Crolla? Like, with someone who's, like, maybe going to test him a little bit more in order to make sure he's ready to just, like, take over the world? Or is he just so good?
Is he just so good? I don't know. So, he said beforehand, or I think was it his manager had said, like, really they could have done without fighting Crolla, because not in a disrespectful way necessarily, but in a factual way, to say, well, actually it's not accomplishing anything. He wants every fight to be like towards the path to greatness. He was supposed to fight Comey, but Comey was injured because But Crolla didn't have a belt. He was just a mandatory defense, so it didn't get him any nearer the goal of like unifying anything like that, because it was just a guy he had to fight who didn't bring anything. He didn't have a belt. He's not considered like a pound for pound great. But I don't know. There's chat about whether Garcia, how easily he would be able to come back down in weight, because obviously he bulked up, or tried to bulk up, chubbed up for his fight versus Spence.
Yeah.
So he's got what is it? So it's like going back to 135 after fighting at 147. It's quite a long way to go back. I don't know how comfortably he made the weight. Obviously, Garcia had fought at super light as well. So I don't know. I don't know if Garcia would fancy it. He's going to be like, fuck, he's good. And also, it's kind of like, if I lose to him, then I'm kind of severely jeopardizing my own legacy as a great, because I've just lost like a couple of fights in reasonably quick succession. And it's not like he's going to fight. You might, unless he fights, another like however many dozens of times. But I don't know. I'd be curious to see what Garcia decides to do. But Lomachenko looked incredible. And he looked like a kind of cold-blooded assassin, like as if he was really, really angry, but it was all pent up, and it was coming out as like kind of ice cold, like death moves. Do you know?
Yeah, yeah.
The way he did it, it was impressive.
And like, it's the thing that I think's quite beautiful about the way that he works is he throws punches that are some are meant to just throw an opponent off. They're not meant for like power or to knock someone out or anything like that. They're just a strategy punch to get someone to move their hand in a certain way so he can deliver like a more devastating blow on another side.
He's doing it in an alignment with his movement, is he? Sometimes just to block their vision, to confuse, because his footwork is so good. He can be so far away by the time they like regain, be able to see him. He's like, where's he gone? Where's he gone? Where's he gone? Fuck's he got? So it's super impressive. And the one thing I would say as well is that Crolla knew he was like in for a pasting probably, but I mean he went in, he did everything right in terms of preparation, and he was certainly brave. He is a high level fighter. I just wanted to mention briefly. I don't know what you thought. I'll get your opinion on this. So, boxing's favorite idiot voiced his opinion, and you know how, because Gervonta Davis is the weight division below Lomachenko.
Yeah,
certainly quite vocal about. He was vocal about everything, basically. But, I mean, obviously people have talked about him prospectively fighting Lomachenko at some point. Now, he said in a tweet that went down a storm on Twitter following the fight, he said something along the lines of not being funny, but who is this anyway? As in, like, who is Crolla?
yeah.
Which brought him an absolute torrent of abuse on Twitter, and not just from Brits, which was quite interesting. I thought that's quite nice. So basically, a lot of people were saying, like, their defense was like, well, I mean, even if you don't rate him that highly, Crolla's definitely like a top 10 fighter. He's been a world champion, and he's fought at a very high level from a long number of years, and he's in a similar weight class, one division up from you, and he's a top 10 fighter. So Davis, are you saying like you only know like 10 fighters? Do you know what I mean? Like, how many fighters have you actually heard of for you not to know someone that fights in one weight division up, where against people that you would want to fight? I mean, it's just like, how it's like he's gone, I'm incredibly ignorant. Funny, huh? That's what his tweet was.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous.
Do you know what was funny as well? Did you see the bit where Lomachenko was asked about Gervonta Davis? And Lomachenko said Gervonta Davis is the best fighter on Twitter.
Oh, like it.
Totally.
He needs to fight more and chat less. The most kind of what shall we say, vulgar response that I saw on Twitter about Davis was that once he wipes Mayweather's spunk out of his eyes, he can then look at Crolla's record and see that he's fought better people than Davis has.
Oh, that's class.
It's a bit close to the bone, but yeah, I thought it was. I like the sentiment, but it was quite a specific way of displaying it. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Well, the one thing that does excite me, by the way, is that so we know, you know how we were really upset that Crolla Lomachenko was in the US and not in Manchester, right?
Yeah, we were upset that it wasn't close by, and we couldn't afford both emotionally and financially to go to Los Angeles.
And the podcast isn't big enough yet for us to get flown there.
Exactly.
There might be another chance that Loma fights in the UK.
Right. Yes, no, I think I did read something about this, but why?
In September, there might be an option for him to fight Luke Campbell.
Ah, yes. He's not going to want to fight him, though, because, again, it's not got a belt.
Because here, the thing is, like, people are wondering, like, who the fuck is he going to fight?
Well, the boy Comey, probably want to fight. He'd want to fight him for a bit.
But Comey will want a fight back after his injury. He's not going to want to go from like broken hand to fighting Lomachenko. He's going to want a takeover. So I mean, do you throw my boy Teofimo Lopez in the ring with Lomachenko at this stage?
I do not think they throw Lopez in with him. He's chatting about it. He's chatting like he'll fight him. He'll fight him tomorrow. He'll fight him yesterday. He's so eager.
Yeah, he's the new fucking Carl Frock, Teofimo Lopez, when he's fucking speaking shit. But like, and Garcia's not gonna want the fight because like he comes from fighting 1 pound for pound great to another, and then risks losing. When he's I guess going to have to lose a bunch of weight, maybe make weight, whereas Lomachenko I think probably comfortably makes the weight. Yeah,
I think that's the top of his weight. I don't think he is an option to go up to super light. I think it would be too. Well, he could obviously, but I think he would be giving away too much size. Yeah, there's no one else. There's no one else for him to fight. The other champions are Garcia or Colby. Mm-hmm. So what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Luke Campbell in Manchester Evening News Arena. Woohoo!
We're there.
Right, should we move on to...
No, I think we should spend more time on this. We've been quite concise so far.
I know. Should we stop the Lomachenko loving for a moment and talk about...
Only for a minute. Go on.
The middleweight unification.
Yes.
Shields versus Håmmer.
Let's do it.
Matt, do you know what, right? When it first began, when I watched the first round, I thought, I think Håmmer, she's got some size on her, and she's game for this fight, right?
Agree.
But as the fight went on, I thought to myself, she doesn't have any composure. And as it went further on, I thought, her cardio is actually letting her down. Mm-hmm. She was gassed, man.
Yeah, she unraveled pretty badly. I think Shields took a round or two to work her out and to work out how to nullify. Oh, by the way, do you notice that the only person on the planet, and I bet that she's right in doing it, is so on the coverage, the Box Nation coverage, they had our friend.
It was a friend of the show. Yeah,
Hannah Rankin. I mean, we can't have her on every week, so she's got to do something with her time, I guess. So I guess Box Nation's better than nothing. Hi, Bunsey. Anyway, she seemed to be the only person that was pronouncing it Håmmer, and I'm sure she'll be right.
Yeah,
and everyone else is wrong, to be honest. But anyway, kind of beside the point. But Håmmer, she unraveled pretty badly, and I think once Shields worked out how to nullify and how to counter Hamer's jab, then that was like she was in massive trouble. Håmmer just seemed to just wilt, and she couldn't land anything meaningful. Shields is slick as fuck.
Yeah, you can see why she's got all the fucking marbles.
But you can also see, although again, I'm not proclaiming myself to be an expert, but you can see how incredibly well skilled she is as an amateur.
Yes,
because of her movement, she's so hard to hit. She just looked so slick. Really, really impressive. And because I think what you were saying, like Håmmer looked like taller and was getting the jab going in early stages. And if you looked at them side by side and you looked at them physique wise, Håmmer looks like much more of an athlete. She actually looks much more, in terms of looks much more athletic, a physique. But Shields had all of the moves. She had a variety. She was impossible to hit, and she just pulled away and made it look really easy. She's a bit cocky, but she's backing it up big time.
Just as an aside, I wonder if Hamer's name has been anglicized and she's supposed to have an umlaut above the A. Just throwing it out there. Maybe something for next week.
You've spent the last 3 or 4 minutes working out how you can like shoehorn in umlaut to make you sound as if you're cultured in that, isn't it?
Indeed,
that's what you've done. Well, you've succeeded. Well done. And umlaut.
Well done. Umlaut. Yeah, umlaut.
Umlaut. You've googled that while we've been recording.
I fucking haven't. I know what an umlaut is. Thank you very much. I went to university,
I'm a lot of doubt in my mind that's true. Right?
I was fucking umlauted off my nut for 4 years. Here's the thing, right? So now, right, Shields has all the belts, okay?
What, like ever?
Every belt. There's chat about her fighting Brackhouse, which everybody wants.
Everyone does want that.
I mean, yeah. There's that. I mean, what she says that like she's joked that she might have to fight guys now because there's just nothing left.
That's nice. Well, it'd be interesting.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, good on her. I still don't think it's had enough coverage, to be perfectly honest. But
it was super exciting, though. Huh?
It was a good match.
I was a little bit disappointed with Håmmer because I think like the commentators were quickly pointing out, like basically all the way through, that she had really, really like striking technical deficiencies. Mm-hmm. And again, I think that's to do with the shallowness of women's boxing and the fact that I don't know her exact history, but I don't think she has the same like high level amateur pedigree that Shields had. But I thought that was apparent. I'm just wondering, Breckus fights at welter.
Well, I mean, the one thing that I did learn from our chat with Hannah Rankin is actually like women do just have to like be more open to fighting at different weights. So, I mean, I guess it could be an option for her to go up from welter to middle. I think she could probably do it.
Well, maybe they could meet. So maybe they have like a catch weight or a super welter. I don't know. Maybe they could meet in the middle. I'm not sure, but it seems like jumping up 2 divisions. I don't know. I don't know how big she is naturally, but I think if you could pick a fight to make, then obviously those are the two that would get made. The other way is obviously Brackhouse and Taylor, but if she can crash her weight and Taylor can come up, that's that. But I think it's like they're the 3 biggest stars, aren't they? Yeah. So definitely. It's kind of like which can you get them in, and either fight would involve Brackhouse because she's the centre pin, isn't she, in terms of where she positions weight wise.
So interesting stuff. Should we have just a little chat about our old friend Jaime Munguia?
Yeah, we should. I will admit, Ryan, that I've not watched this. He won a majority decision versus Dennis Hogan in Monterey, obviously kind of home country. Now, Munguia was at 33-1 on to win this, and most of the reports that I've read say that while not an outright robbery, then most people, although it was reasonably close, awarded the fight to Hogan.
Yeah, and Hogan's come out and said that actually he was robbed.
He has come out and said he was robbed. Yeah, he's not saying it was close. It could have gone either way. He's saying I was fucking robbed.
It'd be interesting to know what our friends of the Transnational Boxing Ranking Board think. Whether or not it was a robbery.
That would be interesting, and also how they'll then. Well, their robbery clause is quite stringent, isn't it? They have to have a really high majority to say that it was. I wonder.
Yeah. So.
But it's very interesting, and it kind of you wonder, did Munguia not take it too seriously, or is Hogan better than his record and history suggests? I don't know. But it's interesting. It maybe takes a bit of the sort of shine of invincibility off Munguia.
Indeed.
So
Indeed.
Maybe he's not quite as good as we thought he was, although he has kind of been battering people. I don't know. But it's they're saying they'll rematch.
Right. Well, should we move on to what the F are the fights this weekend?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah. There's some good shit going, man. There's some good shit going this weekend.
Should we talk about the Madison Square Garden fights on pay-per-view, BT pay-per-view?
Pay-per-view. Yeah, we should do.
Pay-per-view, not for very long, my friends, I don't think.
Oh, man, you know what?
Fairly brief.
Yeah, it's going to be super brief, I think. I think, like, if this goes beyond 3 or 4 rounds, I'll be surprised. I think this is going to be like another Loma Crolla kind of thing, because I think Crawford is going to hit old Glassjaw. He's going to do his wobbly legs, and he's going to be out like a light.
It's hard to argue with that. I think... Do you know, I was thinking a little bit about this, and this is a really obvious comment, but we've been fairly critical about Amir Khan for both his like driving and his chat and his stunt glass jaw. But one of the things that you cannot say about Crawford is that he's dodged anyone. He's literally gone, I'm going to win. I don't care who it is. I will fight literally anyone close to my division. And he's done it. So he has like a stellar... If you just look at who he's fought in terms of like how good they are throughout his career, then he's fought the best. He's fought like super high level guys, and a lot of them. I mean, he's lost a fair number of the fights, but he's never shied away from a really tough battle. He's not just taking the kind of easier routes to keep the purses coming in. Although he's made himself very wealthy with his approach anyway. But it's worth saying he's certainly not a coward. I tend to agree with you. I might just to be like, we'll stick some fake money on it, and I'll go. I think he'll get knocked in round 5. I think he might last. I think the first 1 or 2 rounds. I think he'll look good, in and out, super fast, flashy hands. 3 and 4, he'll start to get tagged a little bit. 5th, he gets caught big, gets up but wobbly, and gets dropped, and finished again. And if that's right, I'll be like, holy shit, what have I just done?
Right. I am going to say that, oh man, I think you've got a really good shout actually, but I want to go differently.
Okay. Go for a Khan victory.
Fuck, nah, no way. I'm going to say that Khan is going to get knocked out in the 6th round.
Right.
I think just because I think Crawford might... I think he tends to warm up a bit slowly. So I think the first 3 rounds he's going to toy with Khan. And then he's just going to start putting the pain in.
Bringing the thunder.
But like, I think the knockout is going to be Hollywood devastation level. That's my prediction.
Yeah, Hollywood devs. I like it. Nice.
I saw an interview with Khan, right? It's like one of these kind of promo ones. And in all honesty, it's quite frightening actually how much he believes he's going to win the fight. And he thinks that Crawford like has quite a lot of like flaws. But no. He doesn't.
Well, I mean, he might do. I don't know what they are really. Did he expand on that?
No, he said he couldn't. He wouldn't. He won't be able to deal with the speed.
He always says that. He is fast.
He is fast.
Nice.
It's great if you're fast, but Amir Khan leaves himself open all day long, every day. You know.
Yeah.
He leaves
Chin
himself.
Up, son.
I totally. He leaves himself open like the fucking village whore. Do you know what I mean? 24 hours a day.
That's controversial.
It's controversial, but true.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a tough night for him while it lasts. But anyway, we'll see. Should we move on? Oh,
yeah.
Should we talk about... There's a fight on the undercard. My
boy Teofimo Lopez.
Teofimo Lopez, Mr. Understated. Edis Tatley, he's fighting. This is a fighter I know a fair bit about, actually.
Do you?
No.
No,
I looked him up, though. He's not a donkey. 31-2-0, he is. And he... you'll know this, Ryan. He has a loss and a win on his record versus Francesco Patera, whose name for all the British will probably ring a bell.
Yeah, wow.
So the Patera who beat Lewis Ritz in October of last year.
Wow, okay.
So that's interesting.
That is interesting, actually.
And so he either won or lost. So you can see kind of, I guess that'll give you a reasonable indication of his level. BoxRec has him as the 21st best lightweight in the world. Anyway, I think he's got a decision over Van Mendy as well. If he absolutely smokes this guy, then I think people will continue. I mean, people are sort of setting up and take notice. But if he absolutely smokes this guy who's never been knocked out, then I think, and only been beaten twice, and has some notable names on his wins, then I think people will take notice and be like, maybe he is that good. Maybe he should fight Loma next. They won't say that.
No, they won't say that.
But they'll say he's good. And then, just very quickly, there's also Danny Garcia's fighting versus Granados in California on Fox. I thought I better mention that one. Is he kind of a reasonable fight against Granados, but not like a super high level one. He's expected to win and win well. And there's a card in the UK, Ryan.
There is a card in the UK. Oh, cannot wait for this card, man.
Is this the most excited you've been about a boxing card?
Oh, for a long time, actually, man. I mean, this is everything anyone ever wanted, which is Dave Allen headlining a night. It's just great, man. I think this is almost pay-per-view worthy, actually, to be honest.
You'd be in something of a minority of thinking that, but anyway.
Well, so obviously our old friend Dave Allen is taking on Lucas Big Daddy, get my cock out, take a picture of it, Brown. And, you know, Dave Allen he's looking in real shape for this fight, I think. So I rate him, actually. I think that he has got the power and will to take it. And, you know, Lucas Browne, most people will remember from that devastating knockout he took from Dillian White last year. And I think it's gonna be a good wee fight, man. You know, I think it's interesting to see, like, can Dave Allen, you know, pull it out the bag and you know, actually do it. You know, how is his like kind of new shape and fitness level and seriousness going to carry over into it? You know, is it going to go the full 12 rounds, or is it going to be a bit of a kind of scrap and we see a good knockout? I really don't know. But I'm excited for it. I think this is a good card to watch, like just as a good night. You know, there's some good other fights on there as well. Derek Chisora's back. He's fighting. This is Derek Chisora 3.0 against Sened Gashi.
He's had more reinventions than Madonna now. Is Derek Chisora?
But you know, he's working with Dave Caldwell now. I think this could really help him. You know, I think his fitness is going to be a lot higher. Joe Cordina's on it as well against Andy Townsend for the British lightweight title. You know, and I've liked Cordina when I've seen him fight before. Andy Townsend has lost 4 actually.
It's Townend. I think it's Townend. Right?
Townend, yeah, Andy Townend. Who's Andy Townsend's the football guy?
The football guy, the English guy that played for Ireland.
Yeah, that one. Josh Kelly's fighting as well.
He's fun to watch.
He is fun to watch. Conor Benn is fighting against an unnamed opponent.
He can be quite fun to watch as well.
When he's not like almost murdering people in the ring.
Well, or you know, what was the name of the guy that like amazing fight where they just kept knocking each other down the entire fight?
Yeah.
Proper brawls. Just out of interest, the your boy Dave Allen is fairly strong. He's 1-3 on favourite with the bookies, so he's a pretty strong favourite with the bookies to beat Lucas Browne. So I think it might be right. I think he'll win.
Yeah, I think he will too. You know, he's younger. He's way younger than Lucas Browne.
26 versus 39.
I think this could be like a Lucas Browne swan song, to be honest. I think this is a kind of big money smash and grab. You know, I could see a kind of Lucas Browne, David Price job later in the year.
Yeah.
You know?
It was, what was the chat? Oh, yeah, I saw there was an interview with Alan, and it was him and Brown both being interviewed together, and they're proper, like, bum chums. It's like, they're really friendly, really pally with each other. And he said, up until it goes into the ring, and then they're going to be, like, mortal enemies and stuff. But they seem to be quite nice to each other, which was actually quite a nice change. But he was asked, saying the winner could potentially fight either, like, Price or Chisora. And Dave Allen was like, I'll take Price, please. Which I think is wise. Like, I wouldn't really give him much of a shot against Chisora, to be honest. I still think he's like, I mean, maybe if he's like new and improved and all the like fitness and stuff, but I mean, I still think he's just like, I just think he's like a tier 3 heavyweight. I just don't think he's that good. But anyway, he seems a nice guy. I hope he proves me wrong, but not convinced.
Well,
but it's a good card.
It is a good
It'll
card.
be fun, I think. It'll be a fun night's boxing.
It will be.
I'll be watching.
Definitely will be. Right, well,
I'm not staying up paying for.
Should we move on to what the F went wrong last week?
Yeah, man. Last week, it's kind of what the F went wrong last week. What the F went wrong last episode. We should change this to.
Well, no, because we rarely take a break. Let's be honest here.
It wasn't a scheduled break.
It wasn't a scheduled break.
Like, it was a conspiring circumstance of, like, you know, illness for man and beast.
It was indeed. It was indeed. Dear listeners, I must tell you that I have a young puppy who...
That's not a euphemism, guys. He's actually meaning he has a young puppy.
I have a young puppy, and last week I took him for a walk with my girlfriend to the local park, and someone had set up a dog trap where they'd put rat poison inside a small hole that only a dog could see, and we saw my dog like kind of nibbling at something. We weren't quite sure what it was. And we went and saw there was this hole full of like these red pellets of rat poison. So we had to like take him to the vet pretty much immediately and get his stomach pumped. And so my entire weekend was basically on like high alert to keep my dog alive. He's fine though, by the way. He's absolutely brand new, but like we're very, very lucky. So, and then Andy had man flu, so it all kind of just didn't work out well last week for Boxing Unwrapped. But we deserved a break, man. You know, it's a year without a break, except for like Christmas.
It is. I know. We've been committed. But you have to put family first, Ryan.
Indeed, man. You know, I've got a young being that needs my attention now. I was literally at one point over the weekend. I'm not even lying to you, man. So like we had to look out to see.
Were you sitting by his bedside holding his paw, crying?
Not quite, but like there was points where the vet had said like you need to keep an eye out if he's sick or like when he shits like that there's no blood in his stool, and so I found myself at one point over the weekend like basically with like peeling open dog shit with my hands like to look inside and make sure that there was no like blood, and there was absolutely no point in like of me like in my head going I shouldn't be doing this, what is wrong with me, until afterwards where I was literally had to take a good long hard look at my life, and I was like I've just willingly like fingered through dog shit looking for blood, like what has my life become?
Oh dear. It's changed days. This is what happens when you have responsibility. These are the things you have to do.
It is, man. It is, you know. So yeah, so that's why.
He's on the mend. He's on the mend.
He's on the mend, man. He's great. He's fucking chewing up everything. So he's all right. He graduates from puppy school next weekend.
So proud. Right, should we do what the F went wrong last episode?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel we got sidetracked. Although it was a heartwarming story, it might broaden our appeal a little bit to all the animal lovers. To be like, you want to listen to the story these boys are talking about. Nothing to do with boxing, but this poor wee dog. Christ almighty. Right, sorry. Kerman Laraja. Do you remember Kerman Laraja?
I do remember Kerman Laraja.
Who fought recently with a surprise loss for the European title in front of a crowd of 10,000 in Bilbao, and I needed to confirm, yes, indeed, his hometown is Bilbao.
It's great.
Big family. I know, it was important news to clarify. The other thing we talked about was, I'm going to spin through this a bit faster. Liam Smith, after his win, what are his options for a title at Super Welter?
Mm-hmm.
So he's already been like battered for 12 rounds by Munguia. He could, if he doesn't want to fight him, he can fight Jarrett Hurd, who's a monster, or he can fight Tony Harrison, who unexpectedly beat Jermell Charlo.
Mm-hmm.
So his options look terrible, to be honest, for a title shot at Super Welter is what I'm saying. Anyway, you talked about Cinderella Man last week.
I did, yeah. Yeah, I did.
So I looked it up afterwards, and I think I'm going to watch it because it's actually got very good reviews.
I thought it looked good. It looked like a good film.
It didn't make any money though.
No, did it not?
But it did not really. It took slightly more than its cost of production, but it did get good reviews, and it does have 3 Oscar nominations, including an Oscar for one of my favorite actors, Paul Giamatti.
Wow.
Should we move on to some random news?
Let's do it.
Right, so Yard versus Kovalev. The chat is that that's been agreed, and also that fight will take place in Russia. I just cannot believe this is true. But anyway, that's just, they must have got Yard and gone, here are some very big suitcases that cannot close because they are so full of the monies. Would you please go and fight Kovalev in Russia?
Totally. He's like, yeah, okay. Thank you very much. I would take all my money.
He's like, you do realise there is, of course, very little chance that you will now win the fight because it's taking place in Russia.
Yeah. Unless you absolutely fucking knock Kovalev out completely.
Yeah. You're gonna have to Alvarez him. Yeah. You're gonna have to like bar the shit out of him. So anyway, that's what's supposed to be happening. Usyk, who we know is fighting heavyweight debut against Takam.
I'm really pissed off about this happening in the States, by the way. I do want to say this. I'm really pissed off that it's happening in Maryland of all places. It's not like it's a New York fight or anything.
Where is Maryland?
It's East Coast.
Is it
East Coast?
I know it's East Coast. Is it kind of northy or is it kind of more?
Yeah, well, it's where Washington DC is actually in Maryland.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh well, that might be quite nice. You go to Washington.
Well, you could.
You go up to New England and have some walks.
Vermont IPA.
Oh, and get on. Oh, hello. Business just picked up. That would be a great idea.
Yeah. Well, I'll float it past my girlfriend. See how she feels about me leaving her and the recovering puppy.
Dog in its sick bed to go and drink. Tell her that really that's the the birthplace of an entirely new genre of beer. That'll convince her.
Oh, I'm sure she'll go for it straight away when I put it like that.
Tell her you just can't beat those hazy IPAs. It's like drinking juice. It's so refreshing.
Yeah, I think I'll be in the doghouse.
Anyway, you'll be getting fed rat poison. Anyway, if Usyk beats Takam, then apparently he will vacate. He'll then vacate the WBO belt, and then become. I said WBO. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And
he will then become mandatory.
Yeah.
For the heavyweight version. This is not particularly old. This is probably new news anymore. But Eubank Jr. is working with Virgil Hunter in an attempt to rectify the massive technical deficiencies that he has.
Really?
Apparently so. Yep.
Well, we'll see.
Vitali has said, again, I don't know how seriously to take this. I know April Fool's has passed, but Vitali Klitschko has said that Vladimir Klitschko would come back for $100 million. Does
he really need $100 million? Can he?
I would have thought after a point it's kind of redundant getting more money, unless you just want to say to people, I have even more money.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's
there's nothing. What do you want to practically do with an extra $100 million if you already have $100 million? I can't imagine it would make much day-to-day impact.
Unless he wants to pay off the government debt of of the Ukraine. That's the only thing I can think of.
He wants to use it to shore up their air defenses for to stop the Russian infiltration. Yeah. Do you remember? I've spoken because no one else in the UK has mentioned him. The giant Chinese heavyweight Zhile Zhang.
Yes. Yeah.
He signed to Matchroom.
Maybe that's Matchroom trying to take over China.
Well, I'm sure there's a promotional angle to it, but it might mean hopefully that he has some meaningful fights as opposed to knocking over.
They're trying to line up someone to fight David Price.
East v West, the battle of the giants when giants collide. When giants who are rubbish at boxing collide. Oh man. They also signed Michael Hunter of Bakoli Victory.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
they signed Matchroom have signed him too, and Porter is saying that he is fighting Spence in September.
Really?
Apparently so.
Well, we'll see.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I don't see it. Not yet.
You don't see it. I don't see this one, and I think. In the interest of brevity, we will conclude the random news there.
Right. Well, Andy, do you want to tell me what grinds your gears this week?
You know what really grinds my gears?
I will do. Quick mention. This isn't it, but a quick mention for Dillian White for calling Deontay Wilder a crackhead several times. Now, I'm not a big fan of Deontay Wilder, but I don't really know how you can call someone a crackhead when there's like, I don't think there's any evidence. I don't think he would be able to box even as he does if he was a crackhead. So I think he's probably not a crackhead. Anyway, that's not what grinds my gears. What grinds my gears is I was watching the boxing at the weekend, and there was something specifically that I thought jarred with it, with the women's boxing, and that is the ring girls. And I was thinking about it, and I know like boxing is primarily men, and you know, ring girls are generally attractive women wearing not very much, but it's I think it just strikes me as being an increasingly absurd thing to have. And I think if you look at what's happening like society-wise, and if you look at what's happening in other sports, then basically they're being phased out. And I don't think you necessarily want to be the last ones doing it.
No.
If you look at, you know, it's not like at football. I know maybe in the States they have cheerleaders and stuff, but it's not like at football they have like ring girls. And, you know, the ring girl, I mean, it's completely redundant because everyone knows what round it is. And there's like there are giant HD projection screens all around every arena and on TV. So they serve no practical purpose. But it's as if you imagine that they weren't holding up the board and they just like strutted about for a bit and smiled and blew a kiss at the camera, you'd be like, what is that? That's ridiculous. But that's effectively what they're doing, because they're providing a piece of like completely redundant information because it's displayed in like a million other more clear ways, as opposed to like a board of 12-inch board when you're like, you know, 500 feet away. It's like, what is this? It's just, I think it just looks absurd. And as women's boxing becomes more and more credible, I think the notion of them carrying on is more and more absurd. And like I say, I don't think boxing should be at the end of the queue to realise that. I mean, like, I think they're even stopping them in like darts, which is like you know, kind of one of the last kind of bastions of kind of old school masculinity. And they're like, oh no, we can't have ring girls anymore. So I think Formula One have scrapped them, haven't they?
Yeah, they have done, yeah.
I think basically everyone that's still got them is in the process of like phasing them out, and I don't think boxing should be at the back of the queue because it's kind of an absurdity and it's kind of ridiculous, and
I think as well like
embarrassing all right.
For women's boxing, should they not have ring men?
I wondered that.
Just to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, why not? But I mean,
it's as equally fucking ridiculous. Let's be honest.
I think it would help to highlight the ridiculousness of it as a kind of a statement.
There we go. You know what? I will offer myself up to Hannah Rankin for her title fight to be a ring man.
Get the old budgie smugglers out, right?
Oh man, I don't even need to dust them off.
You might need to get some vanish on them though, right enough. Oh man. Right. Well, we'll ask her, see what she says.
Yeah.
So that's what grinds my gears. So let's move with the time, guys. I think the ring girls have had their day, and they're seeing as they're all like 19, they probably have time to retrain in a different career. Oh, dear God. So that's me. So tell me, Ryan, this week, what is grinding your gears?
You know what really grinds my gears?
Andy, I'll tell you what grinds my gears, actually. We've touched on it a little bit earlier in the episode, but it's actually irresponsible corners. And I think it was really highlighted with Lomachenko Crolla. And I'm sure that, you know, his trainer will come out and say, oh no, I had, you know, every interest of his safety at my mind at all times. But I want to call bullshit on that, actually, because there was no way that Crolla was going to win that fight. No. And, you know, he never even looked competitive, actually, from the second round onwards. The only thing that happened from Crolla being sent out into that fourth round was that he was going out on his sword more than anything else. So why are we letting that happening? Like, don't let him fucking go back out. Just say, look, Anthony, you've gone up against one of the pound for pound best, who is unfightable. There is absolutely nothing wrong with not coming out, because actually, if you go out, there's a good chance you're going to get really hurt. And that knockout was devastating because Crolla fell on his face. Now, he was lucky not to like smash his face up or, lose some teeth or like have something even more damaging. Did you see like when he was just lying on the ground and they were trying to speak to him and the ref couldn't even like flip him over onto his side because all of his like dead body weight was just lying on his face?
It looked horrific, yeah. When he got knocked out, it looked really bad.
It did look really bad, and the only reason that he got knocked out so badly is because his corner thought more about how his kind of his street cred more than actually his safety, and I think that actually there needs to be a kind of some other safety measures where maybe actually medical professionals are stepping in and taking a look at the boxers and saying, "No, I'm sorry, this guy can't go back out again."
Well, I mean, they should. I can't remember. There normally is when a fighter has certainly had some punishment. They normally have a doctor look at him during the corner. But I mean, he was still super unsteady at the end of when he came back out for the fourth, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the reason they had that standing out 8 count because his ass was the only thing that was holding him up in the third round
on the ropes.
On the ropes,
yeah. Agree. You make a really good point though, and it's interesting that like. When you listen to the commentary back, certainly, I don't know if the American commentary portrayed it differently, but the British commentary was saying the referee should have stopped the fight in the third. But if the referee should stop the fight, then by the exact same analysis, the corner should be saying, this isn't safe, we should stop the fight on his behalf. It's exactly your point, and they didn't do it.
No.
So if you can't just criticise the referee because the corner has the option to prevent the further punishment as well. So they can do that. So you can't criticise the referee without criticising the corner.
Exactly.
That's my point.
Exactly.
But the corner, certainly in the commentary I listened to, there wasn't any criticism of the corner.
Yeah.
But there should have been.
There definitely should have been. There definitely should have been. I believe. But anyway, that's what grinds my gears this week.
Good one.
Well, guys, that's it for What the F is the Boxing News. A slightly longer version this week. Please keep your ears and eyes out for our deep dive on who the F is Naseem Hamed. It's going to be a good one. He's a favourite. And for those of you who don't know who Naseem Hamed is, you're going to absolutely love hearing about this fighter. But with that in mind, guys, it is goodbye from me, Ryan.
And goodbye from me, Andrew.